Hi everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making Pudina, Grandma's favourite. There's 1,000 different recipes out there, as we all know. I'm going to have a shot the way that I like making it. I've made this 1,000 times by now. I love the orange tang into it. I love the flavour of Pudina, the fruits, the nuts, everything that goes involved in it. This is my Pudina box, believe it or not, which I keep in the cupboard just for Pudina only. It's got its own little spices and everything that we add into it. As we go along, I'll show you how it's all going to happen. The volume we're going to use is all debatable, and as well as a bit of alcohol to go with it, okay? So what I've done already, pardon me, is I've already been soaking bread. That's 2 loaves of bread, by the way. I've been soaking that water for like over an hour by now. So this is ready to start going, and we're going to pulp it. That's what we want. We don't want any hard parts in it. It's not a bread and butter pudding like the English make, even though this is derived from the English bread and butter pudding. Basically, it's going to be a pulp without any dry parts in it, as a bread and butter pudding would be. All right. So anyway, so what we have to do now, I do have clean hands. It's a hands-on job. All right. Don't worry, I'll be eating this and not you guys, so don't worry about what my hands have been. Okay. So what I've done is I pulped it all up. There's lots of water in there. We have to get all the water out of it, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that everything is soft and all the bread is just mushy, all right? This is just going to be a slush, all right? There's many of ways to get the water out of this. My favourite way is to use a muslin or a net or something of that flavour. You can use a colander, okay, and wait for the water to drain out. Press it down a bit if you can. So this one's a fruit bag actually that I picked up. It's just a netted bag. All right, so we're going to put all our bread into it, and we're going to pulp it down. Okay, we're going to get all that water out of it. You can see it's already coming out. Okay. As I said, this is 2 loaves of bread. I'm going to make a large Pudina. I'm going to decorate it. Okay, so I'll be using cherries and almonds for my decorations. Some people use icing sugar. I'm not not icing sugar, sorry. Should I say desiccated coconut? I'm not a fan of coconut, so I won't be using it. Some use sesame seeds. Again, I won't use sesame seeds on top. We'll be decorating with the almonds and glazed cherries, like I said. All right. So this is all coming down nicely now. Look at the water coming straight out of it, okay? And if we twist that bag, all that water's going to come out of it, okay? So I've still got a little bit of loading to do here. Not too far off. That's 2 full loaves of bread. Crusty bread, Vienna bread, old bread, day-old bread, who cares, okay? I was just in the woolly section today. Later this afternoon, I saw the bread on special. It's fresh. It was baked today sometime. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change the flavour. The idea of using stale bread was from back in the day when Nana didn't want to waste the leftover bread that had gone stale, so she would make Pudina out of it for everybody. Okay, that's just how it rolled back then. Okay, we're a wasteful society now, unfortunately. I don't eat a lot of bread because I live here on my own, so I don't make enough bread up to be able to make a Pudina. So I have to buy my bread. Okay, I'm not going to wait a day for it to go old. There's no reason for it. Okay, so we're going to get all that water out of it. And we're going to go hard. All right, squeezing it, wringing it, whatever you can do to get that water out of it. Okay, it's all coming out. It's just going to be a dryish pulp when we're done with it. It takes a bit of time. I just want to show you this process. That's just what I'm trying to do, okay? I would have pre-prepared this and said to you that I just, soak the Pudina in water and we're good to go. But I want to show you the proper process because we want to get the bread to a good consistency to bake with, okay? So it takes a bit of time. The process itself can take just as long as it does to soften off the bread itself, okay? We're getting there, okay? I can change methods just to show you. We can use a colander. and we can just whack it all onto a colander, and then we can press down on it. That came out pretty good actually, but I'm going to keep going with this. So I've got the colander going on here, and we keep the water out of it, okay, until it's as dry as we can get it, okay. That's pretty good right now, but we'll keep going on that, okay. Look at that, so much water to get out of it. It takes time. Some people use water, some people use milk to soften the bread up. Either way, I haven't tasted the difference, to be honest with you. By the time you add all your ingredients into it and get the orange scent through it, the chocolate flavouring into it, and all the fruits and nuts into it, you're not going to notice. Trust me on that one. I've made this too many times, and I've tried many variations, and one is not better than the other, okay? So that's a bit ready to go there. Okay, so I saw a bit of crust there, so let's pop that out. It's a messy process. Don't expect the kitchen to look clean after all this, all right? I'm the messy cook in the kitchen here. A little bit of wastage there. It's all good. Get it happening. This is how I used to watch Nana do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. She'd do it just before she'd go to church, every day, every single day. Nana used to cook in the kitchen. She'd have, you know, the children of the 10 kids, the grandkids come over. She'd babysit. She'd make them food for the day. There was always Pudina, there was always Argina fawn, you know, all the good Maltese stuff going on. Nana never had a break, honestly. She just worked so hard in the kitchen. And as a kid getting babysitted by Nana, I used to sit there and watch her make it. I was fortunate enough to live with Nana for about 2 years in my early teens when I was interested in cooking. And I watched every single thing she did. And I admire her for that. And she left me with a legacy, which is, I know how to make Pudina, all right? So, anyway, so let's keep going at it. We're nearly there. When the Pudina is cooked, it's debatable in the group. Some of them like it dry, but it's meant to look like a jelly when it's done, okay? So, when you carve a slice out of it, it's meant to be jellified, okay? It's meant to have that consistency that I'm talking about. And the ingredients that you put in the nuts or the berries or the fruits that you put into it, it's what's seasonal, it's what they had available at the time, it's what they knew, okay, they were limited in what they could use, money being the biggest thing, all right, so coming out of the war and everything they did in Malta back in the day, they were trying to survive, and this is one of the things this is another survival food, all right, look at that, all right, as I said, wash your hands, all right. My Linda made it with beautiful old white wrinkly hands, and I just used to love watching her doing it, you know, made with love, honestly, all of it, all the way through, all right? Okay, so that's probably still a little bit too damp for me, I'm going to be honest with you straight up, so I'm going to give it a shot. As I said, I pretty well know what it's meant to feel like, so let's get down here, let's get dirty with it all. I don't think I've seen any videos on this, to be honest with you. I tried looking for them to make sure I was being traditional. But I don't think anything gets more traditional than watching my Nana do it herself, all right? So, now, and I did also go through some other recipes, and some of the recipes have alcohol in it, some do, some don't. Some use vanilla essence and extract, and some use this and nutmeg and ginger and God knows what, and you know, and they'll sit there and they'll, that's coming out pretty good right now. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, we've got as much as we can get, all right? As you can see, it's a sloppy job in the kitchen. I'm pretty fastidious and tidy in my cooking. You just have to go to the sink before you go any further. I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way that I work, all right? All right, so now we have the pulp. We have the bread. to the consistency we want. That's a lot of bread. That's going to make one large Pudina, all right? I'm going to be feeding a lot of people out of this. I'm going to be carving up, you know, quarters out of the cake tin, and I'm going to be sending it over to Mum's house and my sister's house as a bit of a gift. I live here on my own. I can't eat everything that I cook, and that's honest truth. So I just hand it out to the family. My older sister's like me, she's a reminiscence. She hasn't got time to cook though, unfortunately. So I'll send her over a slice just to make her remember what it was like to live in Nana's house back in the day, all right? I'll watch her cook anyway, all right? So that's pretty good. What's that going on there? It's a hand-on experience, all right? So let's get it going, and I'll tell you everything that's going into it. Ingredients aren't really proportionate, all right? They never were, they never have been. You know, then they used to look at it, she'd say it's not dark enough or whatever, and add more cocoa powder. And I'll explain it to you as we go. All right, so here we are. All right. So the almonds there for decoration and to put into the mix. The cocoa powder. All that is to do is to add colour. All right, it's not going to put flavour in the mix at all. It's just to darken the whole bread thing up, and it's just going to put colour in the mix. The flavour is going to come out of the drinking chocolate. Nonna used to add this instead of sugar and everything else. That's sweet. Sorry, guys. That's sweet. So you don't need to add sugar. You don't need to add eggs if you don't want to add eggs. You know, there's 100 recipes out there. This is mine. I'm gifting it to you, okay? So, the fruits. Now, we can sit there and we can rind an orange or rind a lemon or rind a lime, or we can just buy the stuff straight from the store, okay? Either way you want to do it. Okay, sesame seeds. Some people put sesame seeds on top when they want to decorate. Some people use desiccated coconut, okay? In my opinion, leave it all out, okay? I'm saving that to make some art biscuits with, all right? Raisins. Pudina is full of raisins, okay? Sultanas, raisins are the larger version of it. Glazed cherries, the favourite part of the Pudina. Every time Nana used to turn around, I used to sneak one into the bowl and shove it in my mouth, you know? Natural lollies, the best thing you can have, all right? So plenty of that. We've got nutmeg going on, vanilla essence, vanilla extract, okay? We've got mixed raisins and fruits, okay? So that's got a bit of citrus in there, some raisins and whatnot, okay? And that's pretty good to mix together as well. We can probably forego those just by using that on its own, okay? Now, to get the orange flavour through it, as I said, we can use the peels, but I worked out a new technique, but me being me, marmalade, all right? It's got the rind in there, it's got the sweetness in there, it's got the citrus flavour, like 200%. You're not going to muck around with that. That can just go straight in and just bypass all that, okay? But watch me do the mix, and then you'll know exactly what I've done, okay? I'm not going to sit here giving you all the ingredients and whatever. A few knobs of butter are going to go in there. Again, being in Australia, I'm going to use some seasonal fruit in there as well. I'm going to use some blueberries. They're going to come out top notch, okay? And alcohol, brandy, sherry, rum, whatever you want to use, spiced rum. The new spiced rums are out now, they're fantastic. I'm going to stay with the orange theme and go with some Cointreau, okay? Just a dash in there, we'll sort it all out, okay? And that's about the size of it really, so let's get it going. We've got a couple of spoons here so I don't make too many mistakes and contaminate my own. Okay, so I've got 3 tablespoons of butter, which are going to go in. You know what, it's a big mix, I might even go for it, alright? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find my scissors, my trusty scissors, sorry. A bit messy tonight. Let's get these currants in there. Let's get these fruits and currants in there. And we're going to just dump the whole bag in because it's a big mix, alright? Look at that. Okay. Next one in, we're going to do the glazed cherries. We're going to save some for the decoration on top along with the almonds. Almonds are going to go in there as well, by the way. So we're going to dump them in. Some people halve them, some people just throw them in the way they are. I like them the way they are, right? Okay, so now knowing it's a large mix I'm about to make, I'm actually going to throw 2 packets in, alright? So, secondary packet, and save 1. Sorry for the teeth, guys. I'm going to save 1 just for the topping. Okay, let's Okay, good, that looks already. Now I want to get my hands in there and start mixing it, but I've got some little service to do with the tablespoon to get some other ingredients in there. Let me just wash my hands a little bit. Okay. So we're going to throw a dash of Cointreau in, a little dash. I hate drinking alcohol, by the way, but I love eating it. Alright, so keep it that way. We're going to throw in some blueberries, fresh blueberries, okay, straight out of the punnet, okay. I've done this a few times before. Working with fresh fruit is difficult because it keeps the dish too moist and it makes it really, really hard to bake. But if you don't use too many, we'll do okay out of it, alright? So here we go for spice. We need to add in some nutmeg. Doesn't want to play my game. Let's have a look here. Here we go. Alright, so I want to get about a good tablespoon in there. It's probably about one by now. Alright. There's some allspice we have to add in as well. So just some, mixed allspice. We're going to put a tablespoon of that in there as well. What Nunley used, I don't know what brand she used, but I remember she used mixed allspice. So we'll get that in. Okay, wrap that in as well. And then we've also got some vanilla extract and vanilla essence. This is the essence. So we're going to add in a teaspoon, really, not a whole tablespoon, all right? We'll get that in there. We're going to throw some, we've got the nutmeg in there, we're going to throw this in, which is the extract, the vanilla extract, not the essence, right? New bottle going on here. So a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon, okay? That was a bit of flaw, good on me. Alright, so we're starting to get it all together now. The blueberries are definitely not anything to do with Northern tradition, okay? So don't even argue with me over it. Hands down, I'll get the feet. It's most definitely not, okay? Nuts. Almonds are the go. Obviously we're plentiful back in the day because that's what the recipe calls for. Between you and me, I can use walnuts, Brazil nuts, any other kind of nut you want in there. Cashews, I wouldn't go for anything oily like macadamias or anything that large, okay? So stop there. Alright, so now we've got the drinking chocolate. And I need another spoon for that. I'll just put this one down. Okay, so we'll get the drinking chocolate in there, which is the sugar, okay? Some people add caster sugar, some other people add brown sugar or whatever. Sugar and flavour all in one, alright? So let's get a couple of, who cares, a few in there, alright? It'll all work out. Now, as I said before, we've got the decision to make what's available on the supermarket shelf. Do we use the mixed peels or do we use the marmalade? I'm going to go for the marmalade today. I bought it specifically for this dish. Oh, that's grand. Okay, so we're going to scoop that out and get some flavour going for this dish, alright? Orange is the essence of a good Pudina, alright? You're going to have one flavour that stands out. It's not going to be the chocolate, alright? It's going to be, most definitely going to be the orange, okay? I love how it transports itself through the dish, okay? Alright, as you can see, we made a mess here. That's me. And that's also Pudina making, by the way. Alright, so let's just try and be a little bit civil here and try and mix it in by hand just a little bit. Whoop, run away. Alright, I can't be civil. Better wet my hands in there, gonna wash them one more time quickly. Another tea towel. Let's get in there and mix it all up. Eggs can go into this dish. People think it binds the dish. The binding is going to happen on its own with everything that's going on with the bread itself. Okay, the starch is the real binder here. So let's get it all moulded through. This is going to be one heck of a Pudina, guys. It was a real treat back in the day if Nana added a different variation of nuts into it or more fruit into it. It was more about affordability and what was available at the time than anything else, okay? There are many versions of this dedicated to, you know, the veterans of what happened in the war and whatever, okay? So they did with what they had. Alright, so we want to brand this, we want the Pudina to look brown, and a dark brown at that, like even darker than mud. So this is going to need more cocoa powder in it. A lot more. We want it to go dark, alright? So let me wash my hands and get some more powder into it. Whoop. If you overdo it, it does provide a bit of bitterness, but we're okay with that. We've got the drinking chocolate to compensate for everything, okay? Here we go. That's the colour we're trying to get. Look how beautiful and rich that's looking. I can't wait to just tuck into it straight away. And I know my family's going to be so happy with this. I still see a big clump of butter in there. There's a long way to go with the mixing. That's the only way to do it, guys. Seriously, it's the only way to do it, alright? There's no clean way to do this. And if you've got a clean way to do it, show me, please. But I think this is part of the fun, to be honest with you. I'm glad I've got my kids here showing me how to do it. Okay, only go darker again. Okay, that's still not enough. Look how beautiful that mix is looking there. And that's what Maltese cooking is all about. A bit of this and a bit of that, more or less. Alright, so where did my cocoa sneak to? Here we go. Let's just darken that dish up a little bit more. Get it nice and dark brown, the way I've always seen it made. Oh yeah, I can smell everything coming from the dish right now. I can smell the currants. I can smell everything coming through it. Yum, drinking chocolate, vanilla essence. Smells grand. Look at that, that's the colour I want it to be. Alright, you can go darker if you want. I've seen darker, I've seen lighter. As I said, I won't change the flavour of this dish one iota. Alright. Now, this is a little bit more moist than I want it to be, so it's going to take longer to cook. So what I'm going to need to do is when I'm cooking it, because it's a bit too moist, is I'm going to run it at about 200 degrees in the centre shelf of the fan forced oven for around about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to keep my eye on it and probably drop it down to 160. The 200 degrees being to help get the moisture out of it, let the fan force send the steam and the moisture straight out of the oven elsewhere, not into our dish, alright? And then we're going to drop it down to 160. And we're going to sit there and watch it. And as soon as it pulls away from the baking pan, and there's a nice thin crust on top, that's when we know it's done. Alright, that's the colour you want. Alright, look at that. Look at the beautiful ingredients inside there. Alright, I hope you can see all that. If you can't, I do apologise. And I do apologise for my mess, alright? I'm not trying to make this an ugly process for people not to do. I'm just trying to make it fun for you guys as it is fun for me to always make it, alright? Look at that. Alright, you've got your nuts, you've got your berries, you've got your cherries, you've got everything going on there, alright? So, yum. And that's probably about the colour I want to get it to, alright? It will darken up as well when it goes in the oven, so you don't want to make it too dark. Alright, so anyway, that's done. Enough playing for me, I can sit there and play forever on this. Alright, let's get all the stuff back in the dish. I'm not a clean cook. Alright, hands are clean. Everything else is dirty, but we're good. Oh, no. Alright. OCD's kicked in right now, guys. Okay, so anyway, nonetheless, Pudina's almost done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer all that into our dish. That's a heavily greased tray. It's a really thick tray as well. Okay, so it's going to hold it together. So when we transport that over, it's time to pat it out, get it evened out, and then we're going to decorate the top. I'll start with the decoration, but I won't finish it. I want to surprise you guys with what I've done towards the end. And look at that, 2 loaves of bread. Yeah, you can see I've made that before. Fills out that dish nicely, all right? Look at that. And in all due honesty as well, I'll be straight up with you guys. If you think you can make this thin and get away with it, you won't. It has to be in a deep pan dish, all right? It'll just dry out on the edges way too much, and instead it'll be moist. The only way you're going to get a moist Pudina is to make it a thick dish, all right? Go really hard and get really thick on it, all right? So anyway, so that's pretty much the basis of it right there. Get it out to the edge. And then we can decorate the top. There's lots of ways to do it. I can show you a few ways. People just we'll grab another pack of where we are. We're going to go for glazed cherries. Now the problem you have with glazed cherries, they won't go the full distance. What will happen with them is basically they'll dry and burn and go black. When you decorate with them. In the Pudina it's okay, because the moisture will protect them. So I just go and cut in. So we're going to make the dimple holes for where we want the berries to go. The cherries. Oh, come on, girl. Oh, let's just go hard. I've got to be done with that. Alright, so we'll make dimples where we want to put the cherries, and we'll line them out as the way that we would cut the dish. Okay, so we're going to leave dimples and impressions in there. But what we're going to do is remove them and then put them back in just before the Pudina sets in the oven, okay? So we know where we want to put them. That's just my rough markings. We can get some almonds in there, have a little bit of fun with the almonds. We can make some pattern with the almonds there. We can make, you know, some patterns there or whatever you want to do, all right? So that's the Pudina. I'm going to decorate this differently, by the way, but I'm going to show you what to do. So you would remove these before they go in the oven, leave an impression with your finger there or drop into, and then pop them in after it comes out of the oven so they're nice and juicy and moist to eat instead of looking black and burnt, okay? I'll pull this out of the oven. So as I said, 190 degrees for around about 30 to 45 minutes. Keep your eyes on it. Once it develops the skin, because this one's a bit too moist, I'm going to lower the temperature down to around about 160 and try and just burn it for a little bit longer in the oven, okay? Center shelf. Don't forget it's center shelf. You don't want it raised high or raised too low. It will definitely change the consistency of what goes on inside the dish, all right? Thanks, guys.